man who killed a giant, ruled a kingdom, and made the world itself bow, but no one truly knows who he was. Jews say he was a king, the psalmist who united Israel and left a legacy that echoes through history. Christians say he was the ancestor of the Messiah, a man whose heart foreshadowed redemption. Muslims say he was Dawood, a prophet chosen by God, whose voice made mountains tremble and birds glorify the Creator. But who was the real David? Scribe and be a part of religions and human history. Let's start, if you are ready, the man behind the throne, behind the songs, behind the legend. They say he was a warrior, only that. No. They say he was a king, only that. No. They say he was a poet with a harp, only that. No. He was all and yet something entirely different. A soul forged in trials, a voice sharpened by divine fire, a heart broken and rebuilt by God. And the truth is far stranger than the myths you've heard. Bethlehem slept beneath a blanket of stars, unaware that history was about to shift forever. In a small, dim room, a newborn cried, not like other children, not weak, not ordinary. His cry trembled across the walls, fragile yet commanding, as if the universe itself leaned closer to listen. David, Dawood, a child born into simplicity, yet destined for storms no human could imagine. His mother felt a strange warmth, a quiet certainty. His father saw a spark, restless, fierce, untamed. And heaven had already counted the battles he would endure. And no one knew, even then, that this child's footsteps would echo across centuries. The boy who spoke to creation. A boy wandered the hills, a slingshot at his side, dust clinging to his bare feet. He spoke little, but listened endlessly. The earth's heartbeat, the whispering wind, the stars' silent counsel, and sometimes in the quiet he sang, a melody too deep for childhood, soft, trembling yet undeniable. Birds paused mid-flight. The world itself held still, not magic, not myth, but a soul aligned with creation itself. Every stone, every blade of grass seemed to whisper, this child is different. Watch him. Even the elders noticed it. A boy whose eyes held storms, whose silence carried wisdom far beyond his years. One night, David sat beside a sleeping flock. Stars burned like relentless eyes above him. Then a presence, not seen, only felt, heavy yet weightless. A whisper entered his chest, vibrating through his bones. You are chosen. His chest tightened, tears fell. He bowed, trembling under a destiny he could not yet comprehend. Your voice is not yours. Your courage is not yours. Your life is not yours. All belongs to me. From that moment, nothing would ever be the same. And what he would face next would shock even the bravest of men. The giant who shook the world. The valley shivered under the weight of armies, clashing shields, whinnying horses, fear that turned courage to stone. Then a shadow fell, taller, wider than any man. Goliath. His roar rattled hearts and silenced armies. No one stepped forward, except the boy, bare feet. No armor, just a slingshot, and faith. Time slowed. One stone, one breath, one heartbeat. The giant fell, not by strength, by conviction. The valley gasped. A legend was born. A shepherd boy had rewritten the rules of destiny. And the secret no one tells you, the battle wasn't just with the giant, it was with fear itself. Years passed. David's voice deepened, not in tone but in truth. His prayers became psalms. His psalms became the Zabur, words that healed, judged and guided. Birds echoed his songs. Mountains hummed in resonance, not myth, not legend, but creation itself bending toward a faithful heart. A throne awaited him, gold, heavy and blinding, but David did not smile. Crowns were burdens, pressing on the soul. He led armies, negotiated peace, judged with justice that terrified the corrupt. Yet his fiercest battles were unseen, in the sleepless nights, in the moments he wept alone, in the private wrestling of guilt, forgiveness, and mercy. What no one tells you is that even kings can bleed in silence. He sang then, not to impress, not for fame, but to touch God, to mend his soul, to remind the world of what is truly sacred. Betrayal cut closer than swords. Love sometimes felt like a battlefield, and even kings plotted in darkness. Yet David endured, a man shaped by faith, courage, and tears. He knew that strength is empty without humility. Power is meaningless without justice. Victory is hollow without God. And when he knelt in prayer, even mountains leaned closer to listen. The wind whispered his name. The birds sang, not for him, but through him. The truth about David is not in what he did. It's in who he became. He was a warrior, a king, a poet, a prophet. He was human, flawed, broken, redeemed. Across centuries, across faiths, across lands and hearts, one question echoes: who was the real David? The answer is not in the crown, nor the harp, nor the giants he felled. It is in the soul that rose above fear, in the voice that transformed pain into prayer, in the heart that became a mirror of God's mercy. David, Dawood, the man behind the throne, behind the Psalms, behind the legend. And now, when you hear his story, listen closely, not to the myth, but to the heartbeat of a soul that still speaks. What happened next will shock even the most devout. Click on the link and check what happened to the disbelievers.